Will guns and ammo be regulated as much as cars with required insurance, registration, as well as mandatory safe storage, national database for guns and ammo or ownership? This is what Susan B wants to know. And frankly, I do too. So let's ask the spirit guides. And they are showing me Canada. And it's interesting because I have wonderful viewers from all over the world, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. If you're new here or you've been here a few times, check your subscription, check that you check the bell because, the algorithm gets a little lost sometimes and they lose me and you can't find me. So I would just like to say that some Canadians are always so supportive. They come in the comments and they let me know kind of what's happening over there and how they're perceiving us, which I really appreciate. And yesterday, a really awesome Canadian came in and said, "This is how we do it over here." And basically talked about all the things that Susan B is talking about. That you can't really have a pistol, you can't have an AR type rifle. You can have a hunting rifle, but you have to take classes, you have to get certified. Your certification is only good for 5 years. So you have to get recertified. You have to have a mental health check. So there's some real, and you also have to have a marital or any kind of abuse. Uh, you can't have had any of that on your record. So yeah, doesn't that make sense? It makes sense to me. Yes, I do see that mainly because we're getting ready to go through a real, a timeline where the potential for an extreme event like an internal civil war could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't feel like it's going to happen. But I think we get so close that it scares the living daylights out of these Republicans, right? It already has scared us. I mean, everybody on our side, we're already terrified, right? But they're now realizing, oh, snap, these people are shooting at us. Like our people are shooting at us, so they can't have that. Like they're not going to have that. We already started that out with the whole Luigi thing. That made them feel some kind of way, didn't it? They were like, oh no. Well, believe me when I say they're going to start cracking down on guns because uh, the guides are saying there's a proliferation of them and it's not safe. So I do see that happening. The question is when and how will it happen? Well, they're saying we have a lot to go through before that happens, and this is part of the way that we get there, right? You don't realize that there's a potential for a deadly accident or a potential for something bad to go on until it happens. And then you're like, okay, we saw that happen. We're not going to let that happen again. Well, in other countries, that's how they got major gun laws. But in our country, it's been like, oh, that was nothing. But because every time we said that was nothing, we could deal with that. That's never going to happen again. Or we need more guns to deal with it. Every time we did that, we made this situation worse. So now we're coming up on the biggest lesson, like just an incredible lesson that it finally switches on the light bulbs of people in power. Now, when I say people in power, I'm not necessarily talking about the president or that cabinet, but I'm talking about more and more. The guides are saying this is such a really good point. More and more, the governance is falling on the heads of the city, of the state, and not the government. So because the government is literally just lackadaisical, just literally falling down on the job in so many areas, states are having to pick it up. States are having to say, oh, we have to be extra careful because there's these risks. We don't have the money, we don't have the wherewithal to deal with this, but we have to deal with it, right? Because for one thing, those people all live in that community. So this is one of the reasons why I don't really see a civil war, because when it comes right down to it, are you going to make this sheriff in Texas, this sheriff in Oklahoma, this sheriff in Illinois, and this sheriff in California, are they going to really get up arms and start shooting people in the streets? They're not, because they don't want that. Yeah, they're power hungry, some of them. Yes, they do illegal things, a lot of them. too many of them are drunk with power, in my opinion. But that's not mayhem. That's not chaos. Because if everybody's shooting everybody in the streets, they're getting shot at. And let me tell you something. They're underarmed and overpowered. There's way more of us that have guns than the police department. When you think about it, that the police department is 200 people and your city is, or even your police department is 2,000 people and your city is 400,000, and half of those people have guns. I mean, it doesn't look good to me for the police department. They know that. It's in their best interest to keep everybody calm, to keep everybody chill. They don't always do it, but that's in their best interest. So I feel like it's these interests that start to crack down on. You're going to, what they just said to me was, you're going to see states pass stronger gun laws. And I don't think you're going to get much pushback, because I think that initially it's going to be about, if you background check, that polls show people don't mind that, right? Also, maybe getting insurance. I think people might mind that, but whatever. The insurance company might like it, or the state, or somebody. Having locked cabinets. Really, so what they just said too is the states could make a lot of money, because let's say the states are having to police more because the federal government, there's no FBI, there's no nothing, right? It's just like basically the states are on their own. So they can raise money by passing these laws and saying, we're going to have an officer come to your house. We're going to make sure you have a gun locker. We're going to make sure it's made by these companies. We're going to make sure that you know how to operate it. And we're going to, and because of that, we're going to charge you $250. State makes money. If you don't really want guns, you're not going to get them. And then if you have an illegal gun, it's going to be a lot easier to figure out. So I think the states are going to do this. And I think you're going to be surprised in the sense that there's going to be a lot of red states that join this. Of course, the blue states are going to do it, but you're going to see a lot of red states to do this. And I just don't think there's not going to be that much pushback. I think there's going to be some. Maybe you're going to see a protest. You see those 20 people that are super loud. That's not a representation of your community. If you're just seeing 100 people out, that's not a representation of your community. If you're living in a decent sized city, that's just some, knuckleheads that are crazy. Okay. So yes, I do see that, Susan. Thank you for your question. Let's move on to Aquanue. Y'all, I don't know y'all's names. I don't know how y'all come up with these names. I got Susan Lynn. Okay, like simple, right? Like simple stuff. Y'all over here trying to get cute, and I can't do it. I just can't. Okay. But I love your name. I just can't say it. Okay, what does the future for Florida look like as the governor continuing to basically enact Project 2025 on a state level? DeSantis. He's another one. Okay, let me look at that. So immediately before I even looked at it, this is what they showed me. Environmental challenges. They showed me like high tides over roads. They showed me condos falling down because of the construction of the foundation has been undermined by whatever, the sand, the changing, maybe the soil is sinking, whatever. And so we go down that road a little bit more. Then you have insurance companies not willing to insure houses. This is already happening. If you're from Florida, you already know this, but the rest of the country does not really know this. But Florida's teetering on the edge of disaster, maybe an economic disaster. And what I see happening, and I think this has already happened too, or at least this is what the guides are saying, is that people that have the money are going to flee. Like they're going to sell their condo at a loss. They're going to walk away. They're going to take their money and leave. And there goes the tax base. You're not getting those good high dollar taxes anymore because that condo went from 1.5 million to 500,000. Then they're foreclosing. Tax base is gone. Can't get insurance. The condos are falling down. Well, DeSantis can't run for president on that platform, and that's the platform he has right now, and it's going to get worse, right? So you asked, are they going to continue to enact it? Okay, well, here's what the guide said. This is important for a couple of different segments. What the problem that you have in Florida is the same problem you have in Texas, which is you have a lot of Hispanic people that voted for this, that don't believe they're going to be targeted. I know, I just left Texas, and one of the last conversations I had with somebody was my Hispanic neighbor who said, I voted for this guy. I think I made a mistake. I'm like, yeah, I think you did make a mistake because you own a landscaping business, and I don't know who you hire. I never asked who you hired, but okay, I'm pretty sure they're not, I don't know. If they're not legal, then you really got a problem here because your business model, you voted against your own business model, right? So that's what's happening in Florida. You have the Cuban, you have the Hispanic, Latino, whatever these different groups are that have voted for this, and they don't see the error of their ways yet. They're still doubling down on it. So until right, so the guides just said there's going to be a disconnect between DeSantis and the Florida Congress, which is also very red. There's going to start to be like a divide, almost like if you can imagine you're standing on land and all of a sudden an earthquake happens and a fissure opens up, and there's a great big crevasse, there's a great big opening, and you're over here and they're over there. That's what I see happening between the Florida leadership and their people. Now, what's happening with that is that and this is just like the United States government, the leadership is just going on like they have all that support, like they have a mandate to do what they're doing. They're going to pretend. They're just going to continue going and continue going. Overall, this goes for the whole country. What I'm seeing is we're going to go to a point of almost no return. That it just looks like, I mean, not only that we're going to lose our democracy, it's not even that. Like, these people don't care about that. I mean, this is crazy. But what they care about is as living in an America where you're getting shot at everybody's getting shot at, like it's like a gangland, whatever third world country you can imagine where gangs are patrolling and shooting people and you can't even go to the grocery store. That's where we're headed. That is exactly where we're headed. And these people are like, no, because I don't want to uproot my family. And a lot of these people are really patriotic. It's mind blowing. I know that's what the guides are saying. They're really patriotic. A lot of these people are really, proud alumni of their colleges. They love that America is the top dog. They love that there's no other country better than America. Well, we're getting ready to be the shite hole that he's made it. So that's what I think. When these people realize, okay, this is 1, 2, 4 steps away from that, we have to do something now. That's when I see this flipping moment, the tipping point, as Malcolm Gladwell would say. It just goes along, and then it snaps. That's the snap. That's going to happen in Florida. That's going to happen in the United States. And then what's going to happen is that judges are going to start ruling against these people. It's like people all of a sudden get some kind of common sense about them, and they start doing the right thing. And then you don't have Project 2025. Now, I don't think that these people, I mean, you want to look at Roger Stone. This man was around during Nixon. They don't disappear. They don't literally disappear. They just go back into their hidey hole and wait for their next opportunity. So yeah, I think we're going to pull this back from the edge. And I think we're going to probably put in some pretty good guardrails. But I also think that Project 2025 is going to go back on the like designing board. Well, it didn't work this time. How can we make it work next time? They're not going to give up. And if that makes you exhausted, I would just tell you that democracy is a full contact sport. If we don't vote, that's why I love that Australia is compulsory voting. If we don't pay attention, if we don't get involved, then we abdicate. We literally give away our rights. And then we get Project 2025, maybe in 2035. Okay, so that's why I always tell you guys to put in your, like last video, y'all were amazing. Many of you put in your list of what you wanted, like very thoughtful list. I want these things in my democracy. Please do that, except for do this for me. Go to your social media and say, this is my perfect democracy. What is yours? Invite people to have this conversation, because we're getting ready to be able to have to rebuild this. And if we don't know what we want, we're going to just again abdicate and be like, they know better than me. Those bean counters, they know everything. I don't know anything. That would be wrong. They know what the sum of their bank account is, and that's all they care about. They don't care about you, clearly. So we have to make them care about us. We have to be more involved. We can't be hands off, right? So write that list. Share it with your friends. Have your friends share with you. Have conversation. Share it on social media. Share it with your family. Because I think if we start talking about this, we're going to say, yeah, you know what? Why don't we have universal health care? Why did I pay into Social Security all this time and this is all I get? Why aren't these people paying their taxes? This is constructive criticism. This is actually creating the future. We're writing the platform for our new democracy. So please do that. It's super important. Sheila Beret, sorry if I messed that up, says, do you see Black Americans be forced out of our country? I don't see Black Americans being forced out of the country, but I see Haitian or Caribbean. I mean, if they can fudge your citizenship, like you probably have citizenship, but we see that, right? Like what citizenship is really acceptable to them, right? Like, I mean, pretty soon it's going to be like you have to have 3 generations or you're not an American, right? So I see people that have just recently within their lifetime gotten citizenship being at risk for sure. But to go wholesale through the Black community and start grabbing people up and sending them out off of the, let me just tell you, I go back to that thing I said I go back to that thing I said at the video that I just did. I wish you would, right? Because uh, the Black community is strong, and they've been through this. They're battle tested. White people don't know what the hell's going on. That's why we're over here crying, because we never had bad things happen to us. I'm sorry to break it to y'all. I just have to tell you the truth. We've been living a dream. Yeah, I had a great childhood. I Evel Knievel, and oh, I get to run down the street and ride my bike. And my name, oh, my teenage years, I would get gas and drive. And ask a Black person what their life was like. Go ahead, just do that. Okay, it wasn't like what you and I experienced. Okay, so they already know. They've already and honestly, they continue to know. They're still battling it right now, today, literally today. Black women lose more babies. Healthy Black women have higher birth deaths than just about any other country. I'm talking about a lot of undeveloped countries. It's abysmal. Why is that happening? Okay, so are they going to come after Black people? No, they're not going to come after Black people. They're going to do it like this. They're going to do it like they always do, which is divide and conquer. They're going to put disinformation and misinformation in there. They're going to try to separate you, divide you, because that's how they can conquer us, right? So I feel like instead of like being physical with you guys, they're going to really do a mental thing on you. And what I've noticed is the Black community is coming together a lot stronger. It's always been strong, but I feel like it's even stronger now. When I just think it's stronger. So I feel like the Black community is going to be able to really, for the most part, push that back and not let that get to them. Now, where they're also going to hit Black community is in the pocketbook, right? So any, and also like they're already doing it, I think, but like they're reducing or removing any kind of renters laws. So now you can be discriminated against. Now, you and I know that even though there's laws, you've already been discriminated against. One of my best friends is a realtor. I saw it with my own eyes. She had a Black lady she was trying to find a rental for, and that person who was renting that place flat out told her, I don't want a Black person living here. That's illegal, but she still did it. So it's still happening, right? But if you take away the laws, they're gonna do it like, they're just gonna do it, right? And there's going to be intimidation. There's a lot of things, unfortunately, that's going to happen to the Black community. I don't see removal as one of them. And all of those things also apply to every other person who's not white. It also applies to LGBTQ, to disabled folks. It applies to everybody who's not white. Okay, unfortunately. But when I first read your comment, I thought Black Americans want to leave the United States. Like they're like, let us leave. Give us a visa. We'll go, right? And I don't blame you. Hopefully that helps, Sheila. And take really good care of yourself. My hot Tim says, will ICE and other military members breaking the law be held responsible? Yes, I do see that. I've always said that. I see them a tribunal, like to me, I know a tribunal, I think means military, but when I hear the word and I see the picture, it's like multiple judges. I don't know why. I don't understand that, but to me, it's not one judge. It's like a group. So maybe it is military. I don't know. I don't understand that concept, but I do see them being held accountable. I think about 10% of them are going to go to prison before they're going to go to prison even before this happens, because they're already out of control. They shot somebody the other day, killed him through a car window. The guy was driving off after dropping his kids off at school. This is just what we're doing now, right? I'm telling you, there's going to be a switch that goes. There's going to be like danger, like they wake up out of this power dream they're having, and they're like, oh snap, this is really bad. We can't do this, right? So they hit the emergency valve. They're like, okay, we got to stop this. So people go to prison before, and then during the tribunal, you are going to see a lot of people get held responsible, go to prison. And there's going to be a subset, I don't understand this, but there's going to be a subset that flee the country. They could be people that already, which is interesting, right? But they're going to flee. They're actually going to flee the country. They're going to illegally leave the country. But we know laws don't matter to anybody, to them. We're the only ones that follow laws around here. They're the ones that don't. So yeah, that's what I see there. And Debbie says, when Trump is gone, will some of SCOTUS, which is the Supreme Court, be gone as well? And if so, who will leave? And that goes back to that trigger thing that's going to happen. I think one of the main triggers is more than likely Trump going, because what I've been getting in the last couple of days is this mayhem, this literal like anarchy. Because remember, the spirit guides were saying vacuum, power vacuum is a bad thing. They just kept talking about it, and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. We're here. He goes. Vance can't control the situation. People are trying to get control of the situation. That's never good. It's just never good. Actually, it's dangerous. So when Trump goes, there's this just mayhem, confusion, smokescreen. Nobody knows what's happening. Honestly, I kind of think, I don't want to speak for y'all, but for me, I'm going to get popcorn out. I'm just going to be like, let me just see what they're going to do next, because it's not going to freak me out. I'm going to be like, we cut off the head of the snake off. Now it's a circus for real. That's why I think there's a possibility that the military steps in. I shared that on Threads. I think there's a possibility because, in Nepal, the military came in, didn't kill anybody, didn't bomb anything, just came in, got everything secured, and then handed control to the person who was, supposed to take it, that whoever that democratic person was. That's what I see. It's mayhem. It's like if you think about 20 toddlers that have been jacked up on sugar for 10 hours and they're fighting each other and sliding around in their own poop and like, just it's a mayhem, right? Like you're going to bring in the military for that, right? And the military is going to grab them all up and stick them in corners. And they're going to say, who is in charge here? And then we're going to say, this person. And then they're going to give it to them and they're going to walk away. That is really and truly a potential. Not saying it's going to happen. There's lots of potentials because there's too many people with free will. And frankly, majority of them are drug addled and crazy. Okay. So when you ask about SCOTUS, I do see them leaving the court. I don't think I see them leaving. What I see is they're kind of all, whereas I'm eating popcorn, they're watching like with the cracked door open, like terrified because they're not sure if those people are going to come for me. Because remember, we just talked about these Republicans are like, uh-oh, I got enemies everywhere and they're armed and dangerous. This is what SCOTUS starts thinking. SCOTUS starts thinking, uh-oh, there's nobody in control of this crazy group and everybody's armed and dangerous. I'm going to hide. So that's what I see them doing is hiding, waiting it out. Because if they retired in the middle of that, they would be a target. They're going to leave. They're going to just keep a very low profile. Then on the other side of that, when things settle down and we get whatever caretaker government we get, or however we manage to deal with this, maybe Vance becomes the president and things settle down enough that he can be the president for a minute, for a month, 6 months, whatever it is. If that's the case, they're going to continue doing what they're doing. Remember, the guides are saying, I always tell you guys, power. You don't become a Supreme Court judge if you don't like power. You're not going to become that Supreme Court judge just to give it away. You want to have your power, right? You want to please your king, but you also want to have power. So if that king is gone, now I got more power. Now I got a whole bunch of power. I got all my power back. Now I'm somebody. Why would I leave? Right? So I think that they may leave if they feel like the power's not on their side. We can read the energy of these people. I said Grassley is going to step down. He doesn't want to be a senator. He's tired. He did step down. They called him and said, no, you're going to get in here and do this thing, right? So when I'm reading the energy of, say, Thomas, who could really give a flip about anything, you're going to have to do something extra for me to stay, right? He doesn't want to be there. So you can read that as he's going to step down. But then if he gets a better offer, he's not going to step down. But that's not necessarily set in stone yet. So I don't know that, okay? Overall, this is going to take a little bit of time. I said this in the last video. It's going to take a little bit of time for us to get back on our feet. And then those people who won't step down, to deal with them. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. I'm telling you guys, I'm channeling. I don't even know what I just said. Sherry says, hi, Susan. Hello, Sherry. Should we remove all Trump supporters from our lives? Is it too dangerous? Well, that's a personal thing. You guys have to decide, I think, on your own. But when you're making that decision, you really have to be very clear-eyed about, is this person a rageaholic? Do they have road rage? Do they scream and yell at the dogs or the kids or maybe even at sports, right? Like if they're super MAGA still, like still today, I don't see any way. I don't see a high percentage. Okay. Like maybe there's a small percentage, but I don't see a high percentage of success of you guys becoming you know, understanding each other and accepting each other. So I feel like yes, but really it's your personal choice. Betsy says, can you ask the guides the best way to unify after all of this? Darker forces at work want polarity so we can be controlled. That is it. They want us to fight each other. So here's the thing, the guides have been saying it for 2 years now. And so did Kamala Harris. It's about community. They can't divide you. If you know your neighbor, your fifth neighbor, your person across the street, whatever, find ways to have community. And I think that we're at this place now where those people that used to be MAGAs, but now they're not, maybe they're not liberals. I'm not asking anybody to be just like me. I'm just asking people to be civil, right? You're going to find those people and find areas that you have common ground with them in your community, because what is happening is our government at the top of the food chain is burning down. But like I've said in this video a whole bunch of times already, the cities are going to pick up the slack. The cities are actually going to help you get vaccinated. The cities are going to help feed you. The cities are going to help you find a place to live. The cities are going to help protect you. It's all going to come down to the cities, the states. Now, you could live in a red town or a red state, and that's, that could be a problem, to be honest with you. If you're isolated in a red town, you really do need to be careful, because you're probably not going to get that help, right? So I don't know what to tell people that feel stuck, that feel like they financially cannot move. um you have to just really ride this out, like riding out a storm, the guides are saying. You get as much as you can, you bring your food in, you just avail yourself as much things as you can. And that really might mean that even though you're isolated in this red city, in this red state, or this red town, that you have an online group. Online is fine too. You're on an online group, and there's a town an hour away that maybe has a Costco or a Sam's, or whatever it is that you would find that it would be cheaper to shop at. And you make friends with that person, and they may drive to you and help you. We don't have to do this on our own, right? It's really, the guides have always said the cheat sheet to how to get out of here is to expand and make friends. Maybe not make friends with magus, but make friends with people that you can make friends with, even if it's online. And if you're online and you're like, oh, there's this person who lives an hour away and they're really isolated, and they really can't, they don't have enough to eat, I don't mind going over there once a month and giving them some staples. That would make you feel so good about yourself. And it would make you feel so good about what's happening in this world, because you're being the light. That's how we feel better. We go out, we donate, we volunteer, we pick up trash, we talk nice to people. That's the opposite. I'm just going to share really quickly. I just left Texas. Now, I love Texas. Don't get me wrong. Texans are amazing people. They're some of the nicest people I've ever met. However, I lived there for over 30 years. In the last 10 years, and I lived in a very liberal town, okay, that got literally, the Red Army came down the freeway and took over my town. I was very involved in politics, okay? I saw it. Well, landing in a blue city, I can just tell you that they were so mad. You know what I mean? Like, they were so mean and angry and short-tempered. And I didn't realize it, you guys. When you're in it, you don't realize it, because you're in survival mode. You're worried about the road rager. You're worried about the person pulling the gun out. I don't even know how black and brown people do it, right? Like, I have one little thing, but I can pass, right? As an old white lady, I can pass, right? Take really good care of yourselves, right? And if you can, maybe you consider moving. Maybe you move to family that's in another area. But if you can't, make connections with people, because saying nice things to people and being nice to people that's what I noticed when I moved here. I'm like, oh my God, this is like, I feel like I traveled back in time 30 years. So it exists. This can exist. It doesn't have to be like that. They've made it like that. They've churned the hate up in these areas. So maybe every day, if you live in an area like that, be extra nice. Be extra nice. Just smile at people. Say hi. We all can raise the vibration. They're not in charge of the spigot of the vibration. We can change it back. If enough of us in our community are nice and friendly and happy, it'll slowly soften those people, and it'll at least will lead by example. So other people will see that's what I want. That's really how we can do this, how we can unify. Mountain Grammy says, will Social Security remain for us seniors before 45? Okay, will Social Security remain for us seniors before 45 is gone? I'm sorry, I thought you meant year 45. Okay, yes, 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 it will remain. I've never seen it. I've never seen Social Security. I told y'all they were going for Medicaid. They did. I told y'all they were going for SNAP. They did. Told you they were going for rental assistance. They did. They are trying to go after Medicare now. The things that I see them doing with Social Security is like what they've already done. Checks being slow, checks being lost, no way to get a hold of somebody, just making it a horrible experience to try to get your benefits. They're trying to break it. It's just like public education. They're trying to break it so that it can go privatized. They've been trying to privatize Social Security since the 80s. Wait a minute. Well, I know for sure in the 90s, because that's when the Republicans came to me and were like trying to convince me to join their team, because privatizing Social Security was going to be such a good deal. I was like, y'all did not do your research. I came out of the womb a Democrat. I came out of the womb a Democrat. Like, that's not going to work. So I don't see them taking over Social Security. I will say to you that there's a period of time of uncertainty in general, because we have that chaos. We have that, just where it's not that the government is flatlined. It's not even that. It's like if you took whatever makes the government and you threw it in the air like 52 card pickup. That's what it looked, or like cash in one of those machines, those phone booths, like the government is just all flying around and nobody knows what is happening. It's there, but it's not connected to anything, and nobody knows how it's going to come back together. But it's not flatlined, but it is discombobulated. So during that time, which I think also coincides with any time that Vance might be there, there's even more obfuscation. There's even more smokescreen. There's even more just we don't know what's happening, right? But we slowly get back on track. And the interesting thing they just showed me is that this actually really does strengthen the states. It's so interesting because the Republicans are all about states' rights and republic and all that BS. Well, what they're doing right now is actually going to strengthen the states. The states are going to come out of this having more power, having more money, having more control. And they're going to take control of their citizens more. Now, what that means, FYI, I'm just, 1-800-Spirit Guides, press 1 for complaints. What that means is if you live in a very poor state, let's say Mississippi, West Virginia, whatever state you want to fill in there, and you have a red state, red leadership, you guys are going to be hurting because the states are not going to help you. And I think part of the thing that we're going to be dealing with going into the next years is an inequality, because the government has kind of gone offline or isn't doing the things that it normally does. Maybe we're experimenting with even stronger states, right? But that's a temporary thing. I don't see that being long term. But what I would tell you is, if you live in a red state, you have to be active. You have to go down to your mayor's office and say, I don't have any food. What are you going to do? I don't have any medicine. What are you going to do? You have to put a face with the problem. That's why a couple of videos, probably 20 videos, I saw all these older people protesting, and they had a name. They had a nickname, a moniker, because you know what? You can't dox them. You can't ID them and make them lose their job. They're not working. They're already not getting the stuff they need to get. They got nothing to lose. They're going to be like, the guides just called them the white tigers. But anyway, they're going to be the ones that are going to be out there in front of the mayor's office, day, night, whatever, because I need you to see this. I need you to fix this and go to the press. Yeah, the press doesn't cover anything, but the press will love. The press loves things that gets eyeballs. I promise you, they will cover this. They will, because they love that kind of thing, because everybody will tune into it. So that would be my advice for you guys. I don't see it really going away. I don't see it becoming privatized. This could change, but I don't see it right now. I don't see it right now, but it could change. This is, this is difficult to predict, because people didn't stand up. I was here last year, and I feel some kind of way about it. I have a little anger, because last year I said, imagine somebody comes into your house and they have a gun, okay? And you have a gun, and you grab the gun, and you're facing them with your gun. They're facing you with their gun. And this is your house. You didn't break into nobody's house. This is your house. If you don't shoot them, they shoot you. This is what I said last year. Biden, you have to take the power. This is what I've been saying for a year. You have to take the extra power. You can't say, well, I don't think they meant it, or I think it'll be fine, or I don't think they stole the election. That's how we got here. That's how we got here. Okay, that's done. We have to take the power. We have to stop worrying that we're going to be like them. Oh, I don't want to be like them. We couldn't ever be like them. But we have to do the extra. We have to. We have to. If we don't do it, they're going to kill us. They're going to take everything. So when we get to that point where we realize it's all over, and we take that action to save ourselves, save this democracy, that's when you're going to see change. But those people won't do it. So my predictions don't always come true, because I would do it. I would hate to do it. It would wreck me. It would hurt me. It would hurt me. But if I was protecting a child, or I was, I would do it. I would just do it. But our politicians won't do it, because they still think we're playing a playbook from 1970. They just can't understand that they've lost all the power, and they're not going to get it back by writing a strongly worded letter. They're not going to get it back by saying, I want to censor you. They're not going to get it back like that, So I don't know what the answer is, but it's being a lot more bullish and in their face than it's fighting like you're about to lose something really important, because that's where we are. Lisa Hammett, do you think Dem Representative James Tallarico will win the Senate seat in Texas? Well, I guess I could just answer it that way. Right now, the guides are saying he's got like a 70% chance to win. It's very early. It's very early. And he is making inroads. He is doing things, but I don't know if I don't know that he's moving fast enough or that he's gaining attention. I know people think he is. I'm just telling you what I see when I look at Texas. So I think he's got about a 70% chance to win. Because I did that very fast, I'm going to go to the next. Lisa also says, same person, maybe, yes, says, do we think that the FIFA World Cup and the Olympics will be affected by the terrible turmoil in the US? Yes, I said this before. I said this in November of last year that I didn't know this about Trump, but he loves sports. Like maybe it's the allegedly the bookie thing in him, right? Like I know he loved wrestling and I know that he's been around some UFC fights or boxing matches, but he actually loves sports from the perspective of betting, from the perspective of, and also the masculinity of it. He likes that, right? So, and he wants to control it. He wants to own it. He wants to control it. He actually wants to anoint, this is the team. Everybody else is dog water. This is the team, right? So, and I think we've seen that. I think we have. So yes, I do think it's going to affect it. I think this is why the time we're living in is absolutely insane because FIFA, these soccer tournaments are still trying to come to the United States. And I don't know why. Again, back to the beginning of this video when I say there's a lot of people who don't believe what is happening is ever going to affect them, right? They just believe my world is fine. The United States is fine. I mean, my house right now, everything is quiet. That means the whole world is quiet. It's never going to affect me. That is bull hockey, right? It's totally bull hockey. So they want to go on like the world is fine. And I think FIFA may come, but I'm not sure about the Olympics because they're showing me Germany. They're showing me Nazi Germany Olympics. So I don't know about the Olympics. I think the Olympics might be very affected. Um, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. On our highest timeline, and there's good, better, best, or maybe horrible, good, better, best. So on our highest timeline, we've kind of conquered this thing. We've like Nepal, we've come over the top of it. And what happened in Nepal was not just that one day. It's been a decade. They've had multiple leaders. This is not one and done. They've been struggling for years and years and years with this, okay? But our highest timeline is we've overcome this. We stabilized it. We have a stable leader. We have a stable government. We're rebuilding our internal mores, values, social skills, social connections. We're rebuilding our identity is what we're rebuilding our identity. And because we did all the hard work, other countries want to be a part of this. There's a sense of being congratulatory. That's the highest timeline. Okay. So then, good, better, best. Best is we do get to keep it. We do it. It's a little bit fraught. There's some tension. There's some countries who maybe don't come or support or whatever. And then good is, I mean, good could be that it's canceled. I mean, honestly, really, because that could be seen good as we're rebuilding our country. We simply don't have the money. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have it. We can't do this justice. We're going to bow out, which is a very mature thing to do, right? And then horrible is that we try to do it. We try to be a part of that. And it's you know, the party kiss of death. Nobody's there but us, right? In Russia. Okay. I'm going to end this video there. As I said, I have a little bit of a cold. I am going to do a video soon because my guides have been talking to me about how last year and the year before, I talked to you guys about 99 arrows or 95 arrows. If you're a longtime viewer, 95 arrows and 5 gained their mark. And there were some other things like flipping the table. I just want to tell you that all that energy is still happening. It didn't stop. And that gives me a lot of hope. It didn't stop. There's that karma bus is still chasing him. It's not going to stop. It's just like what they told me. They're telling me again that, those Nazi war criminals that escaped, they escaped to whatever country they did. They lived for 50 years in this country. And at some ripe old age, they're discovered and they're arrested and they're hauled back to be held accountable. I know justice doesn't always work on our timeline, or it doesn't always work the way we want it to, but it isn't going to stop. It's going to continue. It's like a heat-seeking missile. They just told me it's locked on. It's going to keep going for this guy. And if he goes to the great hamburger restaurant in the sky, then it's going to be locked on to all of his people, including all of those ICE people. But his attorneys, his cabinet, whoever his little minions are, and his family, it is coming for them. It's not going to miss them. It cannot miss them. It may not be in our timeline, but it cannot miss them. And when I got that message yesterday, I was like, that actually made me feel a lot better. I felt like, okay, that wasn't all, pie in the sky, whatever. That it's still happening. Just because, and I also did a video where I told you guys Jack Smith disappears. Y'all remember? Way before he disappeared, I said, I described it. I'm like, Jack Smith is standing there, and then he goes through this veil and he disappears. And I followed him through the veil, and he went to another, country. Guess what? He did that. So even though he did that, it doesn't mean he's not going to come back, because there's an energetic connection to him and other people here that are still keeping the fires burning for these convictions. The fire hasn't gone out. Okay. So hopefully that also makes you feel better. I know it's bad. And I want to just say that this next month is going to be particularly bad. I think between this next month and October could be some revelation that is just sickening, or some terrible thing happens. And that, along with the orange, imposter going to the other side, like that could be just very destabilizing for our country. So just what I would ask you to do is just hold your energy stable. Try to think about breathing and keeping your energy stable. Just imagine that you've got an egg on your head and you don't want it to crack, right? So we don't want our energy to be all crazy because our egg is going to crack. Okay. So I feel like if we can just breathe, take breaks, and pace ourselves and hold the energy as stable as we can. That doesn't mean we're not going to get upset. It doesn't mean we're not going to get sad. I'm just saying that when you do, try to bring it down if you can sooner rather than later. Because what I see is, and this is my homework too, is to keep your energy stable, because that's going to help you coast through this timeline. And it's going to help you help everybody else not freak out, because people are going to be coming to you freaking out. I've said this, I don't know how many times. Everybody's going to come to you. Why is this happening? I didn't think it would happen. They're going to wake up. You're already woke. And it's going to piss you off. And because it makes me mad, right? But what have I told you guys? Let's encourage them to be on our side. Yeah, it's terrible. I know it's terrible, really terrible. You know what would be really helpful is if you called this number or if you visited this town hall. Don't let them dump their toxic adrenaline rush on you. That's not the right. It's not gonna help anything. Agree with them and point their ire in the right direction. So you're gonna keep your energy nice and calm while everybody's going to be chickens with heads cut off, running around. And they're going to be like, how can you be so calm? And you're just going to say, you know what? I think everything is going to be okay. But I would suggest that you really help me out by going to this, you know, town hall or I've been doing these 5 calls. I feel calm because I've been doing my work, right? Like I've been doing the 5 calls. I've been calling my Congress people. I've been calling the mayor. I've been calling these people and that makes me feel better. So maybe it would make you feel better. So you see how you can diffuse this and then send them in the right direction instead of like both of you going into a mental health crisis. Seriously, because they are about to go into a mental health crisis, I think. When they connect these dots and they see how far gone we are, they're just going to be unconsolable and erratic. It's not anything you want to deal with, really and truly, because you can't help them. It's not like you can help them. You can't. They're not going to believe anything you say. They never have. Send them on their way to take all that energy out on the people that deserve it. Okay. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I wish you all the best. I'm rooting for you. We need you. Please take care of yourself. Take naps, take rest, take a break. This is the kind of energy where you can work extra hard and you don't get anywhere. Like you're just slipping and sliding the whole time. Well, if that's the case, then we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to waste that energy. Instead, I would say get rest, do art, do a hobby, take a walk, volunteer, do anything that makes you feel good. Don't forget, when you feel better, even if it's for 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be all day. It's never going to be for all day. But if you have pockets where you feel really good, you're putting out those endorphins into the universe. You're lifting up the planet. You're lifting up your neighborhood, your house, your neighbors. You're lifting up everything, everything. So instead of saying, I don't want to be happy, I feel guilty, it's the reverse. It's the reverse. If you go to that play, go to that concert, of course, be careful. If you go to that, little dinner party, or maybe you have a dinner party, or maybe you just sit outside, or maybe you get a bird feeder or a puzzle or a book, that is raising your vibration. Raising your vibration is actually helping those people that are in pain. You're adding more higher vibration to the cosmic bank account so that those that are missing it can go in and take some of that for themselves. Okay, so that's really how we're going to get through this. Is instead of focusing on how negative it is, believe me, I'm a Virgo. I'm a professional. I am literally a professional. My guides have to talk me down all the time. So I'm not saying that I do this and it's easy. I'm saying this is something to shoot for. This is something to remember about and something to just strive for if you can. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I probably have another video out. I think my voice is going to hold up, but we'll see. And don't forget, I have my class coming up on the 27th with Afefe Tahimba, Rebirth After Change and Transition, Transformation, the Phoenix. I'm telling you guys, this is a class you could probably use right now. It's $33. It's 1.5 hours long, Saturday the 27th, online. If you can't make it, sign up for the class. You'll get the recording the next day. If you can make it, Afefe and I are great teachers. We've taught thousands, literally thousands of people. We're highly recommended and reviewed. And we are very practical people. We're not woo-woo people that are so far out there that it's just not practical. I'm a very practical person. So I do things and offer things that you can literally take from the class and immediately plug into your life to start feeling better, to start walking the path you want to walk, discovering who you are, discovering where you're going. Don't let change, be the thing that denotes who you are. Or, we all have that situation where, well, I was doing fine until the divorce or until the illness. These things happen. We're humans. This is going to happen. This is a normal part of our human lifetime. Nobody gets to the end of their life without experiencing these hardships. The key, the key is learning how to experience them and then move through them and then pivot to a better version. Use them as a place to jump off from to a new version of yourself. It may not be the old version. That there's grief in that, of course. But once you get past that, you can actually see how, well, I loved this version of myself, loved it. But this new version looks pretty exciting. Like there's really something here for me. My life isn't over, it's just different, right? That's what we're going to teach you about in this upcoming class on the 27th. You can find out all that information on my website, SusanLynnMedium.com, SusanLynnMedium.com. Don't forget, I have an online community. It is growing. It is super vibrant. I was just there yesterday for 3 solid hours doing readings. 3 hours, y'all. Doing readings. I do that every month for about 3 hours. And I have another event that I do every month with my members that's also about 3 hours. So for $12 a month, you're getting 6 hours, small group with me, because people that show up for these things are usually less than 100 people, even though there are thousands of people in my community. So there's that for you. The community also has a community board where you can post things. There's a separate side for politics. There's a separate side for everything else, so that two things don't have to commingle, because we know the vibration can be very different. Also, I have in-person event. My 3rd annual Connect to Empower event is happening this November. Listen, I'll tell you guys, I have my doubts. I did not plan this until the last minute because I was on 2 lines with my spirit guides going, I don't think this is going to work, y'all. I'm not sure what state the United States is going to be in. Like, I don't think this is going to work. My guides were like, it's going to work. It's going to work. And I have to tell you, this is my 3rd annual. And every year that I've done this, there has been something going on, an election, a virus, something. And every year, it's like the guides open up a special little like shortcut. Like, okay, y'all come through here. It's gonna be okay for this weekend. That's what happens. Okay. So I'm trusting them that everything is going to be okay. We're going to be on the other side of a lot of heavy stuff by then. It's going to be really nice. It's going to be so nice to hang out with you guys in person and in Santa Fe, New Mexico. You can learn more about that on SusanLynnMedium.com. Thank you so much for joining me all the way to the end. Sending you lots of loving energy. Take really good care. I'll see you soon. For entertainment purposes only,